what I'd like to do is to share with you just two fit body concepts that can help you in honoring the health of your body. One of those is how you eat. And certainly we could talk for the entire LOHAS conference on the concepts of how to eat, whether you want to be a vegetarian or there's a million ways that we can discuss eating. So what I'd like to do is just give you a simple concept to utilize no matter what your actual diet is, because again, we don't really have the time to go deep into that. And this concept is what we call in our book, inviting the caveman to the table. And what that really is saying is, how did people eat in ancient times to keep their body balanced? And what happened in times where there was a lot of food? How did they eat? And what happened in times where there was very little food? And how did they eat? And how did that affect their bodies? Well, let's look at the times when there was not much food going on. Maybe in the wintertime, it's sparse months, there's nothing fresh. Food was scarce. And so the frequency with which people ate was not very much. And so what happens when we don't eat very frequently? Well, survival, our metabolism slows down. Okay? I mean, we've all heard that through diets. If you reduce your calories too much, your body thinks it's starving, and our ancient survival genetics, which we all have and it's all the same, says, whoa, I'm going to slow my metabolism down, so I'm going to stop burning fat, I'm going to stop burning calories when I'm just sitting around to conserve. So one thing that you can do is to make sure that you eat fairly frequently throughout the day. Because in times where food was plentiful, humans didn't eat big meals. They just ate a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit later in the day. Another thing that people would do when there was not much food was they would gorge themselves, because when something showed up, they ate everything there was, because you never knew when the next thing was going to happen. There were not Whole Foods markets back in cave days. Okay, you couldn't just go down there and buy whatever you needed in that deli. That I have a hard time resisting everything that's in there. I don't know about you, but anyway, so eat frequently. And also, don't have the meals be that big. What happens when we eat a very big meal? The same thing happens. Our ancient genetics is saying, I ate this gigantic meal because I'm really not sure when I'm going to get the next one. And so what happens when we do that? Well, our body releases a hormone called insulin. And insulin is a storage hormone. It stores excess blood sugar. It turns off fat burning, because in ancient times, if we weren't having much food around and we had to eat a bunch when we found it, we didn't want to have all that fat that we store for energy burned. We wanted to conserve it and hold on to it. So again, insulin slows down fat burning. So if you're trying to, let's say, lose body fat, keep the meal sizes smaller. What's the biggest meal in America that we eat? Out of the whole year? Thanksgiving? Oh, you guys are sharp. Thanksgiving, what happens? Well, even if it's the most healthy, balanced meal, we usually eat 3 or 4 plates too many, right? And so what happens? Insulin is released because we had that big gorging thing that happened, and our ancient genetics is saying, we may not get another meal for a long time because I just ate too much. And you know how that is after the Thanksgiving meal, you say, I will never eat another piece of food the rest of my life. Well, that insulin is released. It stores blood sugar. It stores it, it stores it, it stores it. All of a sudden, your blood sugar dips very low. Your brain isn't happy because glucose in your blood is the only thing it can survive on. You start to get hungry because you can't release all that stored energy because it's causing everything to be stored as opposed to releasing it. So what happens? 3 hours after that meal, you're sneaking over to the refrigerator to get something else. You can't believe yourself. Okay? So for food, to honor your body, eat several smaller meals throughout the day. Try to eat your last meal earlier in the day as opposed to later. Again, this is if you're trying to change body composition and reduce your body fat amount. The second tool is how we exercise. Now in America, a lot of people are type AAA personalities, and you know, they just charge at work, and then they also charge when they go out there to exercise, because a lot of us have that concept that unless I'm really pushing my body in my exercise program, whatever it is, whether it's running or swimming or biking or hiking or aerobics class, whatever it is, if I don't do it hard, it's not doing me any good. But our ancient genetics are not set up to have that be a concept for survival and thriving. And that's what we want to begin to bring into the LOHAS concept here with our fit soul, fit body themes, are tools that will help you to thrive. Moderate activity is something that in ancient times we did about 95% of the time. The fast, hard stuff that you see people doing, like in a group workout together, that was our survival technique to get away from a saber-toothed tiger that was looking at us like we were lunch. That was a danger fight or flight response, which is very high stress. So if you want a sustainable exercise program, it needs to be something that's done at a moderate level. So when you run, run comfortably. You don't have to push yourself to the limit. And this is a concept that you can base on heart rate. And I'll give you a quick formula right now, just so you have this, and it's in our book explained in more detail. You have your math brains ready? Okay. So you take 180, and you subtract your age. You all know how old you are? Okay. If you don't like your age, you can pick somebody else's. Okay. So then 180 minus your age, and now you're going to correct this number based on your level of fitness. If you don't do anything, or you've been sick for about a year, you actually take 5 beats off that number. If you're healthy, maybe you exercise 1 or 2 days a week, you leave the number where it is. If you've been exercising 3 or 4 days a week for about a year or more, doesn't have to be a lot of activity, but you're pretty active, you can actually add 5 beats onto that number. Okay? And then the last correction, if you're over about 55 or under about 25, whatever number you have right now, add 5 beats to it. So I'm 52, so 180 minus 52 would be 127, and I've been exercising 3 or 4 days a week for about a year or more, 35 years or more. So I can add 5 beats onto that number, so 128 plus 5 is 133. So at 133 beats a minute, my heart rate, if I'm exercising at that level or below it, that's a low-stress exercise on my body that will give a real strong base of fitness that reduces stress. It reduces stress hormones. It increases the overall health and vitality of your body. It makes your body more sensitive to insulin, meaning that when you eat that big meal, you don't get a lot of insulin released, so you keep the fat burning going. That activity is called aerobic, and it is fat burning. If I exercise higher than that, it's high stress. Physiologically, when I exercise at, let's say, 155 or 165 beats a minute, the physiology in my body says there's danger. There's a lion chasing me, and I need to get to the cave quickly or I'm going to die. Now, you don't want your exercise to be a fight or flight response. It should be something that brings vitality and sustainability to your program, to your life, and to your moods. And that's something that exercising at that heart rate or below will help you to do. Okay? Did you figure it out? So what's your heart rate? 136? So if she exercises at 136 or lower, you can use a heart rate monitor to determine this. She's working that aerobic fat burning engine, so you develop the fat burning capabilities in your body. You lean out a little bit. You reduce stress hormones in your body. You increase the hormones in your body that help you to feel good. One of those is called DHEA. And when you're under stress, that gets suppressed. When you exercise aerobically, it brings it back up, and you have that feeling like, life is good. And when you go into your work, do you want to go in stressed out, or do you want to go in feeling like, life is good? If you're leading the pack, what do you want them to follow? Also, if you are in a very stressful lifestyle, what you can do is to do aerobic exercise in the morning. And what that will do is it will help reset the stress hormones so that they get reduced, the feel-good hormones come back, and it helps your entire day out. If you wait till the end of the day, it's harder to reset that balance. Okay? Has anybody ever felt stress in this room? Oh, 2 of you. All right. So hopefully the 2 of you can use that. The rest of you, carry on. So I'd like to turn the program back over to Brant at this point. Thank you.
Good. Great. So these are all tools that Mark and I both use. We're not just telling you something that we don't practice ourselves. And they've helped, of course, Mark and also myself in lowering stress. And when we lower stress, we're more powerful. Our memory is better, for example. Our interactions are better in the workplace or at home and whatever. And there are many different ways for this from a Huichol Indian perspective, and I will talk about this in a moment or later on in the program. But what I want to talk about now are 3 negative emotions that can affect anyone, whether you're in a cave in Mexico or in the wilderness or in the workplace. And they are anger, fear, or jealousy. And I'm sure you've all felt one of these 3 things at different times in your life. Okay? We say that fear affects this part of your body physiologically. You know, when you get afraid, like that, you feel it here. Jealousy, of course, you feel here in the heart. Don Jose used to say a lot during my apprenticeship, try never to be jealous of anyone. If they're successful, be happy for them. If they're not, then show compassion for that person. And so, anyway, that's the second. Okay, jealousy. And the third is anger. Has anyone ever been angry before? And so we all get angry at some time. So that's here in the stomach, we say. So 3 negative emotions. So I would like to have you just to do an exercise now where you think of one of these 3. Either anger, fear, or jealousy. And what you can do is just to try to quiet your mind and sit up in your chairs for a moment and imagine, and this is a little bit of visualization, which is accepted even by the American Medical Association, as you know, so it has to be okay, right? And Larry Dossi will talk about this when he gives his talk, and he's done studies on this as well, which he has published, and he will be presenting here at the conference. But anyway, so just imagine for a moment from the bottom of your back, from the coccyx, a cord. We say this is your umbilical cord that connects you to Mother Earth. So imagine, just for a moment, this cord coming from the bottom of your back that goes down below the sacred rug, below the building, into Mother Earth. And then think for a moment of, you can imagine, like the light of a candle or of the sunlight coming into one of these 3 places. Think for a moment which emotion you want to deal with, either fear, anger, or jealousy. And imagine the light coming into one of these 3 places. Pick one today, one at this moment. And imagine the light from a candle or from the sunlight coming in to one of these 3 places. Or you can imagine a stream, which makes a beautiful sound. Imagine that sound also coming in then to your throat for fear, or your heart for jealousy, or your stomach area for anger. Okay? Just do that for one moment.